There's a million and one different ways to get clients online if you run a coaching business or you sell an info product. But are some better than others? Are some more profitable, more leveraged, etc.? Well, I spend multiple six figures a month across myself and my clients on ads. I've used to rely heavily on cold outbound to generate my first $20,000 month. I post content religiously. I've used multiple different forms of, content, short form, long form to get clients, and I have a clear list of what I truly believe to be the most leveraged vehicles to get clients as an online fitness coach and just an online coach in general. So today I'm going to be going through and ranking all of these different methods, and kind of explaining why each of these are leveraged or unleveraged, depending on various different factors. So let's jump into the video, and I hope you guys get some value from this video nonetheless. Ladies and gentlemen, so I'm going to be ranking every single way that you can get a coaching client in 15 minutes. Okay, I'm going to be going through paid ads, specifically Facebook and Instagram ads, which I specialize in, cold outreach, emails, building communities, organic content, both short form and long form, and the little mystery one. I love this photo of Zuck. He looks incredible there. But okay, so that's pretty much what we're going to be going through today. So pretty much if you're a fitness coach and you're trying to get more clients, you're in the right spot. This video is going to save you a lot of time, trial and error, and money, because I'm going to be breaking down every single way you can get clients online and ranking these different methods based off of simplicity. So pretty much, if I were to give this to someone with no experience, how would they be able to pull it off with ease? Number two, speed, how fast it can bring in clients. For example, if I give you something that will work 100% of the time to get clients, but it takes 5 years, are you going to want to use it? Probably not. And then last but not least, ROI, which is pretty much a function of, one and two in a sense, but can you actually turn a profit pretty easily with those? Okay, no fluff, no theory. This is just the real world pros and cons that I've personally seen from doing over $10 million in the fitness space, specifically fitness coaching, both in person and online. Okay, so we're gonna be going through. I'm gonna be ranking all of these for you guys. I haven't done a video like this ever, so let's jump into the first one, which is personal brand. Okay, so personal brand is kind of like a function of organic content in a sense. When people say, "Oh, personal brand, start a personal brand," they're just pretty much saying to go post content online and start talking about like what you do or yourself or whatever. In terms of simplicity, it's not super difficult. It's pretty easy to start. It's just hard to stay consistent with. It becomes kind of a discipline game. It's like if you go to the gym every single day for the next 5 years, you're probably going to find a way to get jacked. If you post a piece of content every single day for the next 5 years, you're probably going to build an audience. It's just kind of an inevitable thing. Most people overthink content and just never post at all. They fear judgment, or simply they just like convince themselves that they're burnt out. Okay? It's pretty simple in theory, but needs mental bandwidth to stay top of mind. You got to be constantly on that. And it's not like the actual like process of posting that's like difficult. It's just like doing it every day. Right? Cool. So in terms of speed, starting a personal brand, posting content like that, it's about a 3 out of 10. It takes months to gain real traction. It took me over 6 months to sign one client for my YouTube. So like it's in the beginning, you get zero ROI, and then you eventually start to make money 6 months in, maybe a year in, maybe a year and a half in for some people. But then once you get those first couple clients, it snowballs really quickly. Okay. And ROI, I would say, is an overall a 9 out of 10. Okay. Once built, it's a machine, pulls a lot of trust from people. It's high converting and drives inbound consistently without ad spend. Okay. The person who can spend the most money to get the client will win. That's a Dan Kennedy quote. But the person who doesn't have to spend any money at all, who can acquire clients for free, will eventually win, because I'm pretty much spending the least. I'm not spending anything. And this is how organic content has kind of been able to take over. Okay. So for example, one of my clients is Sean. He does 10K a month. I think he just hit a 15K a month just from utilizing his personal brand through YouTube and talking about business content for his niche. It's very niche specific. Okay. The biggest mistake people make is trying to entertain instead of providing raw value. Okay. I've worked with guys who have 300,000 followers and they're barely scraping 2K a month. Meanwhile, others with tiny, hyper niched audiences having just a few thousand followers are making 10, 20, even 50 times more than, the big guys are that you thought were making, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Okay. So especially like, with education and stuff like this, a lot of guys try to go make like, the TJR style content where they're like super funny. The thing with that is you have to prove your value first before you can go and try to be funny in a sense. So go start with education, build your base, build credibility, and then you can then slowly shift in lifestyle and and entertainment style content in the mix. Okay. You have to prove your worth first. So what's crushing the hardest right now is long form educational content. Okay, exactly what Hormozi posts on YouTube. If you haven't seen his stuff on YouTube, go watch Hormozi's YouTube. That's how a lot of people get nurtured by Hormozi. Okay, pretty much what he does is he just gives away a ton of value. He doesn't really hold back on anything, and it's how he's built such a loyal brand. And as you probably saw, did 77 million. Is people say 100 million, people say 150, people say 70. Let's just say 77 in 24 hours last week, the time of recording this from this. Okay. And the thing is, a lot of people are spending a lot of money on ads. A lot of people are spending a lot of money on cold outbound or etc. And the thing with this is if you don't have a good personal brand with good long form content, then you can spend a ton of money on ads and you will still receive a lower ROI because people who go from your paid ads, people who go from your cold outbound, whatever you do, people are still going to check out your content no matter what. They're going to go click on your YouTube and watch a video. The people who piffed last year, I did this kind of case study within some of the companies I worked with, and most of the people, I think it was like 70% of the people who paid in full went and watched on average 4 hours of the creator's YouTube channel. Okay, so do with that what you will, but people cross-pollinate between different kind of mediums. Okay, so as the first one, personal branding, pretty rock solid. Is it an absolute waste of time? No. Is it incredible? I'd say so. Is it the very, very best? I'd probably rank it in between these two. I'm just going to put it at the very top because it's really good. You need it because other forms rely on it as well. Kind of like paid ads. Okay, so let's jump into paid ads now. So with paid ads are not really beginner friendly. Okay, it's pretty difficult to kind of understand paid ads, especially if you're not like boosting posts. A lot of people will be like, "Oh yeah, I run ads," and they just go and like boost the post. It's not hard to do that, but ad manager skills, targeting, copy funnels, testing, pixelations, like understanding how everything kind of comes together holistically can be a little bit difficult to figure out in the beginning. Is it impossible? Absolutely not. But even me, I've been running ads for over 5 years. I'm still learning always new things about ads. I'm still refining things about ads, etc. Okay. With ads, it has the best speed. Okay. So you're skipping the time it takes for organic content to click and you're just paying for the impressions with ads. So you're going to Meta, you're going to Instagram, you're going to Facebook, you're saying, "Hey, Facebook, these are the sort of people I'm targeting. I'm targeting, people who want to lose weight, or I'm targeting, people who want to buy my day trading course," whatever. You just go tell Meta who you want and Meta will go find it and feed the impression to that sort of person. And that's where the speed is the highest. So ads are one of the fastest methods to get clients, if not the fastest. Great example of this is one of my clients who just got his very first close off of literally $50 in ad spend. Okay, like literally a $2,500 PIF on the first $50 that we started running together. As you can see right here, he sent this. I can't play the voice recording because it's a screenshot, but he was like screaming. He's like, "Let's fucking go!" Right? And this is one of the reasons why when anybody is testing something, an idea, a hook, something like that, they will always go and spend money on ads first because it's the fastest way to validate something. Okay. And with ROI, you can, if you get it right, you can scale aggressively, get a massive ROI. And the thing with ads is it's very easily trackable. Okay. With organic content, it's hard to see what pieces of content people came from. It's hard to see, if that's the thing that really converted them, or if it was this thing, or it's very difficult to track. Okay. You have to probably talk to them and ask them. For example, with ads though, right, you are able to track this all within the ads manager, or if you use like tracking softwares as well, like Hyros as well, you can get a clear idea of, okay, I put this much money in, I get this much money out. This is how the breakdown works. Very straightforward. And all you're trying to do with ads is put less in to get more out. That's the name of the game. It's return on ad spend. Okay. For example, with this client right here, he's selling to fitness coaching to a blue collar niche. As you can see right here, we can see exactly what ads are getting all of the leads. We tested a bunch, obviously turning off the ones that don't work and continually making iterations from there. But from about $2,700 in ad spend, we were able to cash collect over 10.5K and 2.5K under contract in the first month. Okay, so our first month with everything up and running, my biggest month to date, 10.5K collected and 2.5K contracted for a 380% return on investment, return on ad spend. Okay, so this is why I go and I run ads with mainly 95% of my clients. Doesn't matter if they're starting out, doesn't matter if they have an organic base already, because it's the fastest way to get leads and then get clients from those leads. Okay. But there's a risk if you don't know how to know your numbers or how to run ads properly. A lot of clients will come to me. They'll be like, oh, what's going on with my ads? How do I optimize my ads? And I'll say, okay, what's your cost per lead? What's your, what are your CPMs right now? What's your cost per book call? What's your closing rate right now? How many meetings are you getting? Out of 10 leads you get, how many meetings are you able to get? And they don't know their numbers. And if they don't know their numbers, then I can't really help them optimize their numbers. So you have to, especially if you're going to run ads, you have to be a nerd when it comes to tracking. But especially right now with the Meta AI out, you just like the targeting is so good. It's way better than organic. You just simply go give Meta money and you focus on creating your ad to be something that's really good. And it's very simple to get an ROI if you know how to do that correctly. Okay. So with ads, I'm going to rank ads as number one, simply due to the fact that I've made probably the most money with ads. Okay, cool. Next is email. So having an email list. Okay. Email lists are pretty good. They're very underlooked. On average, if you have an email list, you will just off the bat get a 30% jump in revenue. Just off the bat, having an email list, because people consistently are getting fed a message. People open emails more than they open Instagram. They check them more often. They consume them in full more often. It's just a slam dunk across the board that a lot of people overlook. So with an email list, simplicity, pretty much 6 out of 10. Tech setup is light. What matters is consistent, valuable messaging. People want to read your emails for the value. If they're generic, you'll blend into the promo tab with everyone else. Writing good emails is a skill, but it's not complex. The thing about email is that you need to first get traffic to your list, whether it be from organic, paid, or cold channels. Okay. With speed, email lists are slower to convert unless the list is very warm. Sales, so like for example, if the list is coming from an organic medium like YouTube, that list is more likely to convert than somebody who comes from, cold ads. Sales cycles can range from weeks to months to sometimes even longer. And it's simply a nurture tool. It's not an instant sales lever. Okay. But the ROI is incredible. It's like 10 out of 10. Okay. Alex Hormozi emphasizes, he has actually a really good masterclass on YouTube, on his YouTube, masterclass of email on his YouTube. And he talks about how for every dollar invested into email, he gets a 45 times return for his email. Okay. So he pretty much says that for every hour you spend, you're getting a 45x return on that. So your email list can become one of the highest ROI assets in your arsenal if built right. And it also provides something that you can eventually sell. If you're looking to sell your coaching business or your agency or whatever business you do, that is just something that increases the asset value of your company. Okay, cool. So email is Let me come back up here. Email is pretty rock solid. I'm going to rank it in the very good category, but it's not something that is generating top of funnel. Email is something that is generating more bottom of funnel, mid funnel nurture to get people to take the next step. If I work with a company and they have thousands of people on an email list, I already know as a fact that I will be able to get a bigger ROI based off of their offer because, hey, we have 2,000 people who have been nurtured for a long time that we can just simply go reach out to first rather than dipping into cold audience. Okay. So now let's jump into referrals and cold outbound. Okay. So for referrals, if you're watching this and you have no clients, then this doesn't apply to you at all. But and it sounds like something that's super boring and like, oh, this is not a crazy ads funnel. But referrals are extremely good. I have had clients of mine, like my top clients, my top 5 clients that I've worked with. For example, let's say my top 5 clients have generated myself over like $500,000 in sales or $1 million in sales just from those 5 clients. But each of those 5 people have all brought me on average probably like 2 to 3 referrals who have also generated me and paid me a lot of money as well. Okay. Simplicity, pretty much straightforward, extremely simple. Ask happy clients for intros in return for something. No text, no tech, no systems, and no ad spend required. The only thing is they have to be happy. You can't ask a bad client of yours who didn't enjoy your service for a referral. They're going to go tell you to F yourself. There's a way to ask clients for referrals where you can do it in a really constructive way. Like you can provide incentives and offers for them to potentially get a month off or a discount if they give you a referral. Or you can simply frame it in a way of, hey, you really enjoyed this. Do you know anyone else who could possibly enjoy this, or someone else who would get value from the same system that you got value in? There's a couple ways to kind of present it in that kind of sense. Speed, 6 out of 10. If you have clients, this works instantly. If not, you need a base to pull from. And the ROI is pretty good. It's 100% warm traffic, zero cost, highest possible conversion rate. It's the easiest leads to close. Usually you don't have to objection handle. Usually it's like you name your price and they're like, okay, cool, let's move forward, right? Their friend told them or their family told them that they should go with you. So, the trust is already there. Okay. So for referrals get ranked in the all right, pretty high up there. It's definitely not something to be overlooked, but you definitely need a client base to do so. Okay, moving on to number 5, which is cold outbound. So cold outbound is something that I used to primarily rely on to get clients when I was first starting out. It's something that is also like ads in the sense where you have an amount of people who you're feeding an impression to, but you have to find the people who you're feeding an impression to. With ads, Meta and Instagram and Facebook will go find the people, and then you just have to make the message. With cold outbound, you have to find the people and make the message. Okay. And then from there, you have to then track everything. How many people are responding to you? What are open rates like? How many people are giving one answer responses from those, and one answer responses? How many people are having a conversation? How many people are booking a call? Closing rate from those, cash collected from those on average, things you like this, you have to track. So with cold outbound, simplicity is pretty much a 5 out of 10. It's pretty easy to send, hard to stand out. Most people copy and paste the same garbage. People receive dozens of cold DMs every day. If you want a response, you have to be different than everyone else. I get probably like 2 to 3 different cold DMs every single day about my YouTube, about helping me with a thumbnail, about, hey, can I do your copy? Can I do your funnel for you? And most of the time, I'm not going to go with them because if I need help with that, I'm going to go to someone who I've probably consumed a bit of their content and I trust. I've definitely, taken I've definitely worked with people who have DM'd me before. But it does take a lot of effort and they do have to kind of prove themselves in the DMs a bit. Next is speed. So cold outreach does take some time. You can't just blast templates and expect results. Every message needs to be personalized if you actually want replies. It eats up time, energy, and focus. And even then, you need a lot of volume to see consistent traction. The biggest guys who are doing cold DMs, they have teams of virtual assistants who are sending, each 100 to 200 messages, and they're just scaling across multiple platforms with cold DMs. So you can do it. It's not something that I would recommend doing yourself. If you have $3 an hour to put into a virtual assistant from the Philippines, you will definitely see a massive ROI just not having to do it yourself. So it just takes a ton of time to do. And a lot of testing as well, and a lot of tracking. Okay. For ROI, it's a good ROI in terms of dollars spent, but it's a bad ROI in terms of time spent. This is why I say that you need to get someone to do them for you. There's no real leverage here. Everything is directly tied to your time. The second you stop sending messages is the second your pipeline dries up. And that's not exactly a scalable strategy. Okay. It can work out if you're completely starting out, but not a good long-term play because it's just low status. For example, is Alex Hormozi sending cold DMs to people? No. Why? Because he is playing a bigger game. He is trying to get, he knows that he can go and make a YouTube video and get 1 million views, or run an ad and get 5 million impressions. Or he can just try to go DM. If he tried to go reach those same people through DMs, it would be a totally different, there'd be a lot more volume and a lot more effort into that system. Okay. It's still something that's good. I made a lot of money with cold outbound by understanding how to do it correctly, but it does take a lot of effort, and you do need to be consistently doing it every single day. Like a lot of, like look at this example. Love your content. We're looking for a project featuring brand product. Dude, you forgot to fill out your template. Nice little cold DM that I got, but I would definitely put this in the lower categories. It's definitely not something that you need to focus on. I would look at other vehicles. If you're starting out, it's something that you can look into. Okay. Next is podcasting and interviews. So podcasting and interviews, simplicity 6 out of 10, good play for personal brand and authority, requires prep, outreach, minimal tech, not rocket science, but time intensive. Speed, this is just another function of personal branding. If you're completely starting out with an audience, can be slow to see traction. Most of the times, I would say very slow, too slow. I would just tell you to probably just go do something that's faster. Go reach out to people directly through cold outbound or by, running ads. But it does lead to trust in the long term. If you combine some sort of a good way to utilize podcasting and interviews is by interviewing clients of yours and getting case studies and then posting that on organic content. That's a really good way to do things. I do that a lot with my clients as well. But other than that, if you're a coach, most of the time it's a waste of time. Okay. So let's podcasting and interviews. I'm going to put is absolute waste of time, especially for most people. Cool. Number 7 is warm connections. So simplicity, 8 out of 10. If you're just starting, this is hands down the easiest way to land your first few clients. A lot of people overlook this. I guarantee you already know people or, have people in your pipeline or people who or friends, family who, you can message, reach out and ask the classic Hormozi message of, do you know anyone who'd want help with X result? I'm doing it for free because X, Y, Z reason. Half the time the reply will be, well, I do that. Okay. This is actually how I signed my very first client. I got it through a connection because I knew this person. So my very first client in the gym space was a mother of a friend that I had. Okay, so I simply just reached out to him and I was like, hey, I want to kind of mention something about your business, your mom's business to her. Can I reach out to her? Whatever. Reached out to her, warm connection. She trusted me already because there was that connection of, hey, I know your son. And then boom, right there, I was able to sign her pretty quickly. Okay. Speed can be extremely quick. Otherwise, the main cost is the time it takes to set up, okay, etc. The ROI is pretty good. Warm leads, low friction, easy to close, but it's not scalable. This is not something you can rely on. It's like referrals. You can't rely on referrals forever. Once you reach out to all the people in your network and you get all your return messages and people say, yeah, I'll do it, or no, I won't do it, or whatever. Then from there, you're kind of like, okay, now what? And then you have to go to something that you can consistently try to extract value from. So the mine right here is pretty much dried up after you reach out to your first people. But for your first couple of people, don't overlook it. Go reach out to your mom's friends, your dad's friends, family, friends, etc., and definitely try it out in the beginning, because you're not paying any money to get clients. And I guarantee you that there's somebody who would give you a couple $100. Let's say if you're a fitness coach, or if you're starting a coaching business, or whatever you're doing, you can find someone to try out your thing, even for free, and give you feedback on it within your network that is still valuable nonetheless. Okay? So please don't overlook that, because a lot of you guys will do. Okay. And then one of the last ones is school. So school, I'm just going to kind of classify it as a community, starting a community. Pretty simple, like not super difficult to start. Setting it up is easy. Running it is a little bit harder. You'll need to constantly post, engage, and drive conversion, or it can turn into a ghost town if there's nothing happening. A lot of people who are running school communities, like they're literally, they probably have like, I know lots of people who have like thousands of people in a community, and then there's like nothing happening at all. And it's brutal. Okay. That you definitely don't want that to be you. But it's good. It's good long term to have people consume, you know, educational assets to then potentially buy something bigger from you down the line. And that's one of the main reasons why I use school and communities to just simply nurture people. It's kind of like an email list, if you want to think about it, where people can interact with other people. It's more user friendly than an email list. They're able to get like videos, they're able to get maybe like calls with you. Like there's the calendar in there. It's more user friendly. But it's basically like an email list. Okay. Speed 4 to 10. The speed here is mostly dependent on how much traffic you're actually driving into school. School will rarely ever bring leads on it from the browse page, but once traffic is flowing, speed picks up fast because people are warm, engaged, and already in your ecosystem. So yes, speed can be good, but you need to be consistently pushing attention to that community. And I'd recommend you do a free community and not a paid community. You're not going to make money by charging people $30 a month to get into your school community, especially if you're starting out. Just have it free, have people get in there for free, have have people consume assets, videos, things that are going to help them based off of what you do and how you do it. And then from there, they're going to feel more comfortable working with you. Okay. The ROI is an 8 out of 10. The best part about school is, like I said, the ability to own your audience, educate them, and nurture and make offers all in one place. Okay. And the thing with school is you own that audience. So make sure when people are coming into your community, you're getting their name, their phone number, and their email. It's the same thing with an email list, right? You are owning their information, and that's something that is an asset value for your company. So it's a great ROI if you put effort into running it, and it'll build over time. But like email, don't expect results instantly within 1 week. Strong ROI, but if you put the work, it compounds. And you just kind of need to continually be putting effort into that. Okay. So school, Facebook groups, they're both communities. I'm going to put these in the very good category simply because they are pretty much the same as email. They're nurturing devices that you can kind of use. Okay. So all in all, what I want to just kind of focus on before I finish up here is with all of these, it's not necessarily the vehicle that's better. Yes, there are vehicles that are better based off of the point in time you're in. For example, like if you're starting out, I wouldn't recommend you to go and make a podcast, right? It's gonna take a long time to build traction. Okay, if you're starting out, you're probably better off going and running ads and having some speed there. Okay, let's say you already have a big brand. I wouldn't recommend you to go and send cold DMs. Okay. You probably need to look at other methods, but it's really much dependent on kind of where you're at in your business. But a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll try something and they'll get shiny object syndrome. So, for example, They make progress, have a new idea, and they stop what they're doing before. Then they have a new idea, and then they maybe plateau a little bit, they lose interest, and then they try something new, and then there's a new way to get clients, and there's a new method, and then they try that new thing. And this is exactly kind of what happened with me because I got a lot of success with cold outbound. And then I'm like, oh, I have to run ads. And then I went and ran ads. And it took me a long time to make money with ads again. And then I just went back to cold outbound and I just stuck with it for a longer period of time. And I made a lot of money with that as well. So, most people, for example, they'll try DMs for a week, then switch to ads, then start posting content, never giving anything enough time to produce results. So instead, once you find something that brings results and is scalable, just simply double down on it. Instead of ditching what's working to chase the next new idea, focus on getting better at the thing that's already producing results. And if you hit a plateau, it's usually for one of the three reasons. Number one, you don't have the right skills yet. Number two, you don't have the right information and need a mentor. And number three, you need extra help or resources to scale. But all in all, you need to stick with one, maybe two things, especially in the beginning. Okay. Pick a vehicle and get really good at it and consistently do it every single day. Okay. If that's starting a podcast, so be it. Do it every single day. If that's simply running ads to an email list, do it every single day. Spend the money every single day. Get better at ads every single day. Okay. Same thing with school. Same thing with, different methods to get clients. You're not going to get better by consistently switching these things up and trying new things because you want to try a new idea that's going to help me make so much more money. It's the grass is greener where you water it. The grass is not greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it. So pick one and double down on it. I get most of my ROI from YouTube and from paid ads. Okay. That's where I get most of my ROI from, and have realized that based off of the niche I'm in and based off of just being in the game for a while. And what I've done is I've doubled down on my YouTube and I've doubled down on spending more money on ads. And the doubling down on the things that are working, doubling down on your strengths will always get you a massive, bigger ROI than trying to do a bunch of things that are like kind of weak. Like I'd rather do two things or one thing and triple down, quadruple down on it rather than doing 10 things mediocre, because I'm going to get a much bigger ROI by doing this small amount of things on an exceptionally good level. Okay. So please remember this. I know a lot of you guys will watch this and be like, oh, I'm going to try all these. Don't. Trust me, don't. There's things that you can overlap, like, you can do ads running to a school with an email list. There's things that kind of go hand in hand, but you definitely want to stick to 1 to 2 acquisition channels, top of funnel. Okay. So thanks for watching. Hope you got some value, and I'll drop my link below. Go join my email list and you'll get value there. And I post a lot of cool insights and send some cool stuff to my email. I make really interesting offers there as well. So yeah, join that and I'll see you guys on the other side.